Greetings, everyone. This is Fadi, and I would like really to welcome everyone who is watching this video series, and thank you for the comments and interactions that you've been having with us. As you know, in this video series, we are myself and Dr. J. Smith, who is with me here in studio, looking at Islamic claims to try to support the existence of the Prophet of Islam, the character of Muhammad, if you wish, in the 7th century. Why? Because everything that Dr. Smith and myself have done in our video series lately have debunked the existence of such character according to the Islamic traditions. In fact, we pinpointed that there are people by that name didn't exist in Mecca or Medina, did not exist in the Arabian Peninsula in the 7th century, not mentioned as prophets per se, and at the same time, these people existed in different geographical territories that contradict the tradition or the traditional narrative of Islam. We have taken a look at a number of those claims and debunked them. Today we're going to take a look at yet another one of those claims that are used by our Muslim friends to try to support their claim that the Muhammad of Islam did exist in the 7th century within the geographical territories that at least the CIRA and Islamic narrative try to convince us of the existence of that person. Today we're going to take a look at, I think, the claim by John of Antioch.
Yeah, let's go back to the slides and just remind ourselves. Linden went with the Pact of Muhammad, which completely contradicts Sophronius, writing in the same year, who actually was writing in that year. This Pact of Muhammad is written by Al-Tabari from the 10th century, redacted back. That is probably the 12th or 13th century. It could be even an Ottoman document. Nonetheless, we would go with the 7th century. Sophronius is 7th century. This character, whoever this devil they call him, is anything but the Muhammad of Islam. In the Pact of Umar gives a much more beautiful gloss of this character named Umar. We know that this Umar comes from Hira, just south of what is today Baghdad, in Iraq, just straight to the east, not from the south. Now, we move now, and we're still in the 7th century, and we're going to John I of Antioch, 639. He has this colloquy, which is it's not a debate, it's a discussion. And he's with John I of Antioch, and he's having this colloquy with this Arab named Amr ibn al-As. And it's obvious that this Arab is from the north. That's, again, what we notice. He's from the north. But notice what the colloquy is on. It's all about it's about attack after attack against the divinity of Jesus. Notice, this guy refers to him, and John of Antioch refers to him as a Hagarine. That should put up alarm bells right there. Not as a Muslim, but as a Hagarine. Now, who are the Hagarines? Well, they're from the line of Hagar.
That's right.
And so they are the Arabs from what is today Jordan. Petra. Petra is if you could see it on a map, it's right up just next, it just borders next to the east of Israel. And Petra is that beautiful city that has these beautiful carvings out of stone. And so this Amr ibn al-As is from that area. He's having this colloquy with John of Antioch. And the whole discussion is about Jesus Christ, and it's attacking the divinity of Jesus. So this is probably a Christian Arab who is an anti-Trinitarian Arab, and he's confronting the divinity of Jesus, and he's confronting the Trinity. He doesn't refer to himself as a Muslim at all. The earliest manuscript we have for this colloquy is from 874, so it's a 9th century document. It's not even a 7th century. Nonetheless, it does fit the environment that we do see back then, because it's obviously not a Muslim who's confronting John of Antioch. It's actually very much a Hegarian Christian, anti-Trinitarian Christian.
And even if he was a Muslim, why wouldn't the title Muslim be mentioned?
Yeah. And why is it he doesn't talk about Muhammad? Why doesn't he talk about the Quran? Why doesn't he refer to the Quran? Why doesn't he quote from the Quran? Because there's lots of attacks against Jesus' divinity in the Quran. In chapter 5, verse 72, in chapter 5, verse 115, in chapter 5, verse 75, chapter 5, 72, that God does not have a partner. Chapter 5, verse 75 of the Quran, that God does not eat, whereas Jesus and Mary ate. Chapter 5, verse 116, where Mary is included as part of the Trinitarian formula. Why doesn't he quote from those scriptures? Well, the reason why, those scriptures didn't exist this early. That's why. So in coming and going, you can see there's a problem if they're going to bring this up. It's the wrong Muhammad. It's the wrong person at the wrong place, speaking about the wrong things and not quoting the things he should have been quoting if he was a Muslim with the Quran in his hand in 639. Because the Quran had been finished by 632, had already been written between 632 and 634 under Abu Bakr. So there was a Quran there. Why doesn't he quote from it then? More than that, he doesn't say anything about Islam, doesn't say anything about Muhammad, doesn't say anything that he should be saying if he was a good bona fide Muslim. Right. So be careful, Muslims, don't use this guy, because you pretty much, what all you're saying is what we already know. This is an internecine squabble between Trinitarians and non-Trinitarians or anti-Trinitarians. That you would expect. It's just like what we would have with Jehovah's Witnesses today. We would have this kind of discussion. And the Jehovah's Witnesses would be the Amr ibn al-As. Al-As would be a Jehovah's Witness attacking the divinity of Jesus, attacking the Trinity, and attacking his sonship. Those three areas. That's exactly what this colloquy is. So there's another one. That's 639. Let's now move to, we're still in the same century. Let's now move to Ishoyab the third. 647. So now we're midway into the 7th century. Ishoyab III is having a discussion with the Patriarch of Seleucia, and he writes a letter in 647 about the Tayyai and the Arab Hagarians who do not help those who attribute sufferings and death to God, the Lord of everything. Why have the Muslims used this as support for Muhammad? Do you see a problem with this?
Yep.
First of all, what do you note about the Tayyai? Remember where I said the Tayyai lived?
Well, they're in modern-day Iraq.
Iraq. They're the Lahmids. Yeah. They're way up in what is Tikrit and Mosul, way up in the north of Iraq. So why are the Muslims using this as a support for him? Is there anything about Muhammad in this?
That's the thing. That's what's so interesting is like even the claims they're using do not reference a Muhammad or a prophet by that name.
No. There's no reference. Of all things, if he was a Muslim, you're talking about 647. Muhammad had already died 15 years earlier.
Right.
The Quran was well in its way, on its way. We do know that the second rendition of the Quran is yet to be written by Uthman. That would be 652. But here's 647, and he's writing. He's up there, and he's talking about the Hagarians, the Arab Hagarians, Hagarites, who are from the line of Hagar. They would be the ones that are against, because remember, the Hagarites do not have a scripture and they don't have a prophetic line, like the Jews and the Christians, who come from their prophetic line is from Isaac. The Hagarians, their prophetic line is from Ishmael. Well, Ishmael just doesn't appear after pretty much after Genesis. We don't see much about him. Where is his 12 sons? We don't even know really where they all are. Well, we know an awful lot about Isaac, and we know an awful lot about what his progeny did, and we know that's why Christians and Jews do have a prophetic line and do have two complete scriptures to support it. You can see the Hagarians have a problem here. No wonder they're attacking Jesus. No wonder they're attacking his divinity. No wonder they're attacking the Trinity, because they want a prophet and they want a book. They don't have either. For their own identity. So this would make sense, these letters in 647. But again, look at the place that they are derived from. They're way up in northern Iraq. Got the wrong place, wrong person, wrong discussion, and also nothing to do with Muhammad and nothing to do with Islam.
So, Jay, have you had a chance to interact with any Muslims over this?
No, this is the first time they're hearing it, and right. That's why, in some ways, we're pushing the blanket on this. They're pushing the envelope on this one, right. Because nowhere have Muslims really have come back with any response to this. And I would suggest we're the first to actually put it out there. So this is, in some ways, this is a white paper. We're saying, listen, Muslims, you have come back. This is what you're saying. Now you listen to what we're saying and come back with a response. Please help us to see, why have you used this guy? Why are you using John of Antioch? Why are you using these characters when Muhammad is clearly not referred to here? No Muslims are referred to here. You're talking about the Tayyai people. You're talking about the Hagarenes. You've got the wrong people. They're too far north. You've got the wrong guy. Muhammad's not there. And you've got the wrong environment. These are anti-Trinitarians attacking Trinitarians. Don't use that to support you. You've got to come up with something better than that. We're still looking for him. Now, the next one does. And the next one we're going to get into, because finally we come back to the word Muhammad again. We're getting to this title again. So that's going to be the Armenian Bishop of Sebaeus. He's a little bit more exciting because we're finally getting back to what we're asking for. At least give us the name. At least give us the title, because then we can play ball with you. Don't keep wasting our time with these internecine Christian squabbles. which is really what you would expect happening. Because remember, as the Arabs, especially the Hagarians who come from Hagar, they are now coming to power, they're coming into authority, they are now confronting the Byzantine Trinitarianism, they see as alien. And they are all writing, the Byzantines are all writing in all their material in Syriac, whereas the Arabs, who are Hagarian, are all writing in Arabic. And so they're taking an awful lot from them, but they're confronting this one notion that Jesus could be God, or that he could be divine, or that the Trinity existed, or that he could be the Son of God. They're attacking those four areas, and that's why these make sense, because every one of these letters, these colloquies, are all about that. It makes sense because that is exactly what's happening in the 7th century at that place. Remember, we're in what is today Iraq, Syria, Jordan, and Israel. That is the Arab area. That is the Arabia from the 2nd century of Arabia Petraea. These kind of attacks make sense. These kind of disputes make sense. But none of them have anything to do with Muslims. None of them have anything to do with Islam. None of them have anything to do with Muhammad. And none of them have any reference to quoting from any book called the Quran. And that's what you need to have if you're going to put Muhammad there that late, in that period, at that time, and in that place.
And it will show also in the next one, like I said, the Armenian bishop Sabaeus, these references becomes later and later and later now than the traditional, at least, timing that is used by Islam. Unfortunately, Jay, all of these things show a very simple observation. It's an act of desperation. That's basically what it is.
Thank God we don't have this problem with Jesus. He's all over the pages of history. Why is Muhammad completely vacant from these pages, where he should be?
Of course, we're not saying, by the way, in any way that even if we have documentations today supporting the existence of an alleged prophet by the name of Muhammad in the 7th century in Mecca or Medina, we're not saying in any way that somehow Islam is the truth. That's not what we're saying, nor that we will ever accept that, because the Bible is very clear that it is finished in the work of Christ. But what we're trying to show is that these, not only it's a false teaching about a false God through a fake prophet, basically, as you can see, it's a fictitious one in this case, because later redactions are trying to bring back to us a character by that name. But also the message itself is not a true message in and of itself. All that to say is that our hope, myself and Dr. J. Smith and others who are involved in this field of historical criticism of Islam, is that you, my Muslim friends, will take our arguments seriously and go and investigate these resources for yourself. Keep in mind, the references that we're making today come from your camp, the Islamic camp, and our job is to debunk them. And I hope that by now you have seen that we were successful in every single claim, and I am certain that we will be successful even in debunking the future ones. This is Al-Fadi, over and out. God bless. Take care. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, share, and comment. And ring the bell so you will be notified when we release new content. Our mission is to reach Muslims with the gospel of Jesus Christ and help Christians engage with their Muslim neighbors. If you want to join us in this life-changing work, please support us on patreon.com/CIRA International, or just click on the link below.